Hi. Hello. How is everyone? I don't think I'm in focus. Nice. Marcus, how's it going? Amethyst, welcome in, welcome in. I am clean. I'm clean AF. Oreo, how's it going? How are you? Nightcare, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. Boom. Cat with popcorn. Chungus and popcorn. Name a more iconic duo. Right. Today we are doing more of the same. Yesterday we did some experimentation. You know, dicking around with particles, how we want to handle particles and manage them and all that kind of stuff. And now, I guess we kind of start, you know, doing it properly this time. So what we ended up with last time was just like a very basic, like, buoyancy function. But I think what I want to do, instead of... I also need to figure out why this is doing that. Like the... Is something getting done... Let's see. Here, not on sim reset, not on sim reset, not on sim reset, not on reset. Maybe I should do that on reset as well. Where the heck is it? Maybe if I do that. Ooh, I went up a mining level. Wow. Yeah. So last time we ended up with a bunch of balls. This isn't what it's supposed to look like. So why is it doing this? Let me just check that. I feel like that isn't supposed to look like that. That's our wave rendered target. That's our wave velocity rendered target. What the? Hello? Alright, why is that? Oh, right, I was in the middle of doing something. Which was in the... something somewhere. What the fuck was it? Waves... Shore waves? Hello? Oh no, because this is still... And what the... Hello? That was supposed to be 200, wasn't it? I changed it again. That's supposed to go into here. That then goes... Does that. Then does this. That's our... Thingo. Water wave WPO. Yeah. The WPO is good. It's where I'm like calculating velocity. Then why is that gone evil? Let me just start it again and do this, and then. Okay, so that is now. Okay, if I have it set to always, then it is relatively happy. I know, but it still does this. So I'm not sure what's causing the buggy done. Is the entire water done with Niagara Plus shader? Yes, it is. It's all done in Niagara Grid. And... Okay, yeah, why is it doing that then? It's really cursed. water velocity, wave RT, yeah. Wave velocity, good. That's a 32 hitter. I guess it doesn't need to be, but these are all... So why are these getting angry, I wonder? They're just very confused. That is also... What do I mask? Is there something I like disabled that I shouldn't have? I don't think we need to read from the input for anything. It's all stuff to do with, like, you know, in here, like in the ocean. The render target's just not happy. All the other stuff's fine. All the land water. I'm guessing the lake is okay. Maybe. Where are you, lake? Nope, it's also not happy. Not happy at all. This wave RT is fine. This one doesn't have the side-to-side velocity. Is it because I did... No. Oh god, I'm really confused. Okay, let's just let's disable some things. Let's disable shore waves, disable omni waves. Oh, hold on. Is it because something is set to 0 when it shouldn't be? Don't you just love it when, like, things break without you touching them? You know? Consider training an LLM on all your content to be used as a learning tool. I think most... what's it called? Most thingos... Thingamajigos. What are they called? You know what they're called. The things. The things. What are they called? Language models. Do train on my videos, because a lot of people have said that ChatGPT has recommended my videos as like a, if you want more information, check out blah, 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 blah. Which I think is very fun. With Naira specifically? Yeah. Yo, Toxic, thank you so much for the 5 gifties. Gifties. Very appreciated. Congrats everyone that got a free sub. You have all been blessed. Oh, good, Toxic. Thanks for stopping in. Thank you very much. Very, very, very kind. Very, 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 very kind. Too kind. Too kind. guess it's full. Alright, let's continue. Why are we getting weird stuff? So if I do this, then everything's angry. If I reset this, then everything's still angry. Everything is quite angry. Why? Why though? Is it something to do with the ocean waves? Like, what's the deal? Okay, so that worked happily. What would you say the percentage of completion of your water is at? Like, all of it? It's at 80%. So I've got 20% of it left to go. But that last 20% usually takes 80% of the time. If you've ever done anything, you know that the first 80% takes 20% of the time, and then the last 20% takes 80% of the time. But I don't know. I feel like I'm halfway through that last 20%, so maybe 10%. But there's just a lot of tweaking and like pluginification, because, like, you know, obviously other people are going to be using this. So it can't be super hard-coded and whatnot. Kind of has to be some cohesion. Pray for the Bible just being God still working out his water physics development. True. True. Alright, let's see if this... So the ocean waves are... happy? Except the ocean waves don't... Yeah, okay, the ocean waves are broken in here. Let's ignore them for now. We then go shore waves. That does work happily, seemingly. Yeah. And then derive wave velocity from WPO. That also works happily. How much is the plugin going to be? It's currently $35 American, but it will be going up by like $20 when the water update comes out. So if you've already got the plugin, you'll get all the water stuff for free. But if not, you will need to pay a little extra. So that works. Is it the Omni Flipbook waves? No, that also works. So what's going terribly, absolutely wrong? It must be the ocean waves then. Yeah, it could be the ocean waves module. You know, maybe. Potentially. Bubble Simulator Wavephone just for debugging. It was just a little experiment, but we did actually find that we can... So, like, one of the difficult things about doing particles with this kind of system is that this system runs on, like, you know, render targets. It's like, you know, a grid simulation. And there's a few ways that you can spawn particles. One of them is to iterate over the entire simulation, every frame, and then decide, oh, do I need to spawn a particle or whatever? The problem with that is that there is... Gumroad or Fab Marketplace, whichever you prefer. You can do either. Fab automatically gets updated and whatnot, but yeah. Oh, sorry, how do you buy it? Right, sorry. That was, I was just, anyway, 384 times 384. So that would be doing like 150,000 iterations per frame. Not ideal. The other method is to pick random points in a circle, and then with those random points, then decide, do I want to spawn the splash particles? Which is like, basically, you know, is there foam or whitewash or whatever? And then the problem with that is sometimes the particles like miss, or you know, like there might be like this little crest breaking here, but a particle decided to, you know, try and spawn somewhere else, and it gets all fucky and whatever. And so, what do you want, boy cat? I have to take him inside, you little shit cat. Such a little shy cat. Yeah, so what I've come up with for the ocean waves specifically is we spawn particles every so often. They'll be bigger than this, for sure. Oh, and they kind of remain invisible if they're not on a foamy area. But we give them the buoyancy stuff, which they'd need anyway. And then we can actually let them get carried by the waves, and their opacity goes up if they're on, you know, a foamy bit. So we actually, like, let them live for longer, and then let them carry across and fade out and whatever. So that's just, like, a nice way to kind of let them naturally focus where they're mostly needed. And it also lets them, you know, in other areas. But that will only be in the ocean. For particles at the shore, we need to be a bit smarter and do a thingo. We need to, like, have emitters on the shoreline, and they're just querying that specific location. You know, should I spawn particle in this circle? Maybe, like, do, like, you know, 2 particles per second or whatever, or 10 particles per second. And then, if there is foam, spawn the big splashies, you know. Don't know what Gumroad is. Not gonna trust something called... So that Gumroad is like the main digital goods marketplace for anything like creative. So like Blender plugins, ZBrush brushes, you know, Gumroad's essentially the eBay of digital goods. So it is very legit, yeah. But yeah, they do have a price parity feature. If you're from a country that doesn't have a strong currency. But that may or may not apply, I'm not sure. Sounds sus? Yeah, it kind of sounds like Silk Road. You know? But it is, I mean, I use it. So, if you trust me, if you trust me enough to buy my plugin, then you can trust Gumroad. Is the game going to come out before GTA 6? Isn't GTA 6, doesn't it have a release date? I thought it was already scheduled to come out. Let's just turn that off for a sec. 30 performance test to play on Steam Deck. I think someone has actually. Oh, what? But yeah, there wouldn't really be any difference between. I mean, you know, yeah. Been watching you for 4 or 5 years now. Yeah. I've been developing myself. I wasn't a game dev before I started game deving. So the game is still on the cards. It's just been iced for a little bit while I do this update. Illuminated water system plugin, about 2 months. About 2 months. And the plugin in total, probably I've put like 6 months of work into it. But it's already been released and whatnot. What gives you, as a dev, more money instead of going to store fees? I don't know. I think, let me check. Gumroad, permission fee. I think it's 10% on Gumroad. Plus payment processing fees. If you upgrade to Gumroad Pro, the fee drops to blah, blah, blah. Is that the free plan? Yeah. Yeah, let me check what the Fab Store commission fee. Commission? It's a 12% on Fab. But, oh, God. But I guess for discoverability, maybe Fab is better? Let me get this cat outside. He's been such a little prick. Alright, hold on. Alright, BRB. Alright, we're back. Okay, so why is this doing that? Let's see if the wavelengths are all good. Time distortions are all good. Yep. Wavelengths are all good. These are all good. Okay, so why would this one specifically be doing some bollocks? Is it because of this? Oh, is that going out of... No, that can't go out of range. That wasn't it. Right, let's try and figure out what the fuck is happening here, you know? What the fuck? Water wave data grid. Is it because of that? No, that's the same. Okay, let's do that not on reset. I thought I'd changed all them back anyway. And ready wave RTs. Okay. Let's get rid of the omni waves and the shore waves. Let's just see what the hell is happening in here. Why would this be... I'm guessing like something just got unhooked and that's it. Like something just maybe fell apart. Is it this thing again? Has it just gone fucko mode? So it's the inland mask. But that works for the thingo. Water waves shore data. Get the Z channel. Remap it. Then do this. Like that. Because we need that to stop these guys here from thinking that they're freaking ocean waves, you know? Otherwise, yeah, this will think that like, oh yeah, I'm an ocean. Wow. But you're not. You should not be. You are not, and you never will be an ocean. like, yeah, it's supposed to look like... is it supposed to look like that? Ignore the velocity going funny, but... Now it's got, like, nothing happening. Like, this is supposed to all be... Oh, right, I need to turn that back down to 1. So yeah, this is the ocean waves. It's so annoying. Like, why is this getting all fucked up now? Like, how can this... Okay, maybe it's just that... Maybe will a clamp work? Maybe saturate, like GPU saturate, doesn't work on undefined numbers? No, still fucked. Then why does it work on the shore waves? Because they're doing the same thing, right? Over here, we get inland mask, water wave shore data. We do that, and that works in here. Is it because I'm doing like a convert on it? What was I doing in this one? No, that was doing a convert as well. Oh no, that was doing a select V3 channel. Maybe it's just that is fucked up. Like, it's just, it doesn't make sense. Can't tell if that's better or not. These are all the shore waves here. Let me just move back. Oh, now I'm fucking off the world. Can't tell what you're trying to fix. My ocean waves are broken. No reason. So see here. There should be, like, directional waves happening that look like this. Right? But for some reason, they just are not. The other thing I could do is just start over from 0. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. No, I could just rederive the Z. I'm guessing it's something to do with, yeah, getting the Z from the normal. Oh, no, but we need to know if it's fucking positive or negative. Can I just do a sign on that? What do you give us? Do you give us a positive or a non-positive? You give us nothing. Oh, fuck you. Pardon me. If I just did, like, the length, and then 1 minus, and then this, and then that into there, that would probably work. But then that won't give us the the mask inland, because it requires a negative number. Maybe it does. But how could it? No, we're still getting them here. Ignore that smearing, that's just me being dumb. Where the hell is this lake? It's over here. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, that looks like a lake. Really a good job. Yeah, you can see the waves scrolling along here, which is not what I want, by the way. So how the fuck would I wonder if sign still works? Okay, that worked for in here, but did it work for the actual ocean waves? Or are they just all gone to shit? Yeah, no, they're not working. How do you find what's ocean and what's not? With RVTs. RVTs nuts. So I have, I'll show you in a sec. But I have a big old dude under here, which defines the shoreline. Oh, it's not going to work. Okay, let me just get out of play. So this defines like the shoreline and whatnot. And then anything outside of that is ocean, and anything inside of it is land. And so like I'm kind of doing it a bit hackily by like channel packing in the RVT system. But for some reason, when I recall the normals channel, it really doesn't like using this one. At least in Niagara. But what I could do is... fuck, what's the thing again? I did it in here to derive the Z. God, what's the thing called? Coastal mask. Where are you? Ocean Shore RVT draw. Alright, it is... the square of both of them, 1 minus of one minus from the other. Square root. Say the number render of screen 0. I don't know an easy way to do that. But I think this might work if I just rederive the Z by multiplying this guy. So square of x and y. X. 1 minus of x minus y. So I've got a 1 minus this guy, and then root that. Squirt. And then we will make... Fuck off, scale matrix these nuts. Let's make a vector. So I'm going to come out of here, do that, do this. This is going to be our Z. Oh, no, I already fucking I just went over this, didn't I? Because I need the negative of the value. Unless this works. Oh, it's not even like the negative. It's just like the frickin'... Like, 0 would be fine. But it just goes giga fucky. This is really not happy. Like getting that value for some... Like, it's obviously a bug. Like, it's very obviously a bug. Like an engine bug. But... it's very obviously annoying. Still not working. Well, maybe I just need to... That's all nothing. Let me get this one. Looks a bit... No, not that one. This one. This is only circled out for the shoreline right as you... Yeah. Like the negative Z. Because, because it has to be normal. It's a hacky method, but... Yeah, like, because the way that... So we store a gradient. Sorry, it probably wasn't that obvious. Here we go. A gradient... Ignore these bits as well. I'm going to figure that out another time. But it's... Yeah, basically the direction, so R and G, and then at the very shore, it's like a length of 1 in RG, and then it tapers off towards here. But, and it's a linear fall off. But then the towards here, the Z value, or the B value, is 1. But then over here, it goes like, yeah, past 0. So at this point right here, it goes down to 0 and then becomes negative on this side. And we use the positive or negative to decide, do we need ocean waves here? We do that with like another kind of sticker where you can like attenuate certain parts of the water to act differently. And so it's working in the material shader for the fallback waves, but in the simulated zone, which is like inside our render target, which is for spawning particles and all that kind of stuff. Can I go into negative major standard for the RVs? It can. It was working before. In fact, it's working for the shore waves. Like, for some reason, it works in the shoreline waves. It just doesn't work for this module specifically. Like, it's just really dumb. Because, like, yeah, this one does it. It says, water wave shore data, convert, blah, blah, blah. Take the Z value and multiply this by that. And it's totally happy to do that. Yeah, it's just odd. So this is it set to 1. And it's like, oh yeah, like it's totally fine. It all works. It's literally just this one fucked up little value. Water waves. Is it water wave or water waves? Hold on. Am I just fuckwit or hold on. There's one thing about Niagara that I fucking hate. That I hate. Let's see if that was it. Yeah. That was it. Cool. Alright, well that only took like 20 minutes to figure out, so that's not too bad. Yeah, it's one thing I really hate about Niagara is that you have to get variables by name a lot of the time. And it's just like, bruh, like, just why? I mean, like, sometimes they register into, like, stat context. Like, I can go, fuck, what's another one? Wave velocity? No, it isn't anywhere. What about... No, there's particle velocity. It's just, yeah. It's confusing. So that's 6 and then 2, and then in this guy, 6, 2, 3. Let's balance that out. Does that look about the same? The idea is to get this looking like the fallback. Maybe 4 would be better, you know. That looks pretty much pretty banging. Yeah, that looks about the same. So now we have these guys here doing their thing. This should be making trails naturally. I feel like they disappear. I mean, that looks pretty much like these. But yeah, I feel like the foam... Also, yes, I know there's really bad tiling on that. Just ignore it. I feel like the foam is fading out too quick or something. Or it could just be advecting, like advecting into itself. No, it is just fading out too quick. I mean, honestly, that looks... Well, I guess it still advects into itself. Which one was the foam in? Oh, that's like... No, it's... No, it's the B channel of this one. There we go. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see. That needs to fade out like maybe that fast? Question mark. Warark is quite a rabbit hole. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Ha 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 ha. You know? Alright, I can barely tell where the circle starts, kinda. I mean, I can, but... it's not too bad. I don't think anyone's gonna notice. Let's just check it at different intensities. Cool. Oh, that looks... okay, that's perfect now. Was I going to this path gave up early? Yeah. I mean, that's fair. Probably a smart decision, honestly. Cool, cool, cool. Alright, so that's good there. Now if we go back to our other thingo... yeah, I also want to figure out what is causing that bug. So, like, when I restart, for some reason, this happens. Where we have, like... I can't tell if it's infinite velocity or something. Like, something is calculating before it should. Do I even use that? Sim size, world space. Why are you... is that it? No, that would be it. Let's go sim size. Simulation size, world space times 3. Yeah, it's still fun. Okay, let's see if it's the pre-sim needing to be always. It's not that. Is it this needing to be set? Let's just set all of them to always. The post-sim, I guess. Although, okay, let's just check. Is it a... Okay, no, it's not... It's not necessary... Okay, no, it is an issue with the wave render target. Yeah, it's getting gigafucked. What's happening here, though? Something's set to infinity until we restart the sim. But, like, I can't restart it. Is it... Okay, let me go out of this zone. Is it something to do with that? No. Okay, well now I've fallen out of the world. Yeah, I don't know what is happening. Oh, you know what it could... Let me just get this guy right here. Is it drawing to runtime? Water data and land interaction height. Maybe it also needs to draw to the water height RVT. And then what's this one doing? You're just a default color for something? What's your material? Water data RVT default color. No. I have a feeling it's something to do with the RVT. Well, no, because... Yeah. What's our default color on the RVT? Yeah, I've got no idea. It's dumb though, because like it's fine as soon as I do a reset. You know? Then it's happy as a chappy. Sometimes. Let me just set that back to not reset. Right, quit, play, still broken. Is it maybe this? Derive wave velocity from WPO. Previous wave WPO. Do I maybe just need to set a default for that? If... How do I... Where's the user parameters in here? Also, that I don't use anymore. Water wave mask data we don't use in here. Previous velocity I do use. Previous WPO, yes. Water wave velocity, yes. And water wave velocity is getting outputted there. So let's just check value. Oh no, that should be. Yeah. And that is 0. So that should all just be 0 on default. if I just, like, let's just say I set the velocity to, like, I don't know, fucking 100 every frame. We don't bother with actually calculating it. And then we do this again. Okay, so it is a velocity calculation issue. Can't wait to use your over-engineered plugin for my simple game project. I mean, that's kind of the point, right? Is that it's like a it's not plug and play. I mean, it is pretty plug and play compared to some other plugins, but it's like the reason the plugin exists is so that people that are just focusing on a simple game can still have, you know, 6 months work of stupid shader work in their project. Okay, so water wave velocity. Why would this be... Maybe it is the... No, okay. Oh, you know what it probably is? I think it would be up here we get this water wave WPO water wave velocity, and we set that to be previous WP and previous velocity. So value. Here I'll output it. Okay, no, that doesn't make sense then. What's performance in such cases where you need to sample many, like 100 characters messing with water? I don't use data channels right now, but I'm probably going to move to using them. Just so, like, other particles can write into the system with ease. So, like, writing from a blood particle system straight into the thingo. Currently, what I do is I manually... we gather shapes. So, if I go pris debug shapes 1, we manually gather, you know, points, you know, start and end point of some capsules, I guess. So it's not using, like, the collision DI, because that's a bit overkill. And doing this method, you can, like, you know, if a character is just running around, you can just have their feet getting sent in. And then, you know, if they fall over, then you can enable all of the thingers. And if they go in water, you could enable them, you know, up to their torso or whatever. Just as a bit of an optimization. But so they all get sent into an array. And then that array gets manually drawn using this function. Which, for each capsule, draws, like, a shape. For, like, velocity, it has a soft fall-off, which, you know, a lot of other things can't really do. You can define a manual velocity. God, just looking at this shader graph makes my frame rate tank. But yeah. It's, This does, like, all of the inputs, or all of the render target inputs from one shape. So with the, you know, like the deform stuff and the wind stuff and whatever, they all get handled from that. and, you know, like the drawing to the sand and whatnot. So if I, like, go here, and we then first reset it and whatever. Well, yeah, as an example, like, yeah, interacting with the grass is done with these shapes, but it uses, like, a different kind of shape than interacting with the water. Like, it has a different radius and all that kind of stuff. Specific mesh colliding. You just put a component on stuff, and you know, you can give it a list of, I call them bone chains, which are just like, you know, a list of this is like from, you know, upper leg to lower leg, or upper leg to knee is one shape, and then from here to there is another shape. You can see for the torso, I've just gone from pelvis to neck is one shape, rather than having all the different spine bones and whatever. So that's just all manually sent through to my system, and that's the only C++ function, is the shape gathering stage, just because, you know, you can iterate over like 100 different components. I use a buffer mesh distance field. Yeah, so I can get distance fields, but character meshes don't emit distance fields, and like animated meshes don't have DFs. And you might have distance fields disabled on some meshes anyway, so they would kind of fall apart. I do want to do a distance field interaction thing. So, like, using, basically, it'd work for the water as well, potentially, but getting either the landscape or the water height, whichever one is higher, then sampling the distance fields 10 units above it, and checking distance within 5 units or something, and then sample that every frame in the simulations, and compare the current one to the previous frame to get velocities. And that way, you could just have, like, a cube, and it would interact with everything without having to, like... Because, like, these capsules are only good for being capsules, essentially. Grass looks good, mask of vertices. It is... vertices. It's very overkill at the moment. I mean, it works fine. But yeah, it's like individual grass bits can interact and whatever. Whoa, the water interacts with the foliage? That's crazy. What? What? What are you talking about? AAA? Nah, quadruple A. Possible for particles to affect the grass. Never tried it. Not currently in the plugin, but once I start using data channels at some point, then you could draw from CPU particles straight into this system. The only problem is, if I was to set up my hash grid function, I would have to be unpacking or like determining. I'd have to be generating the hash function in here for it to be useful. I don't know. How Skullbones, I wouldn't want to associate a quadruple A gaming, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the joke. That's the meme. But hey, did Skull and Bones have water like this, you know? Maybe that's the... No peeing on the grass. I mean... You could set it up. You could set it up. Whoa, they are not liking that water. Yeah, multiple blades with pivot points. Yeah. The pivots are stored in a UV channel. No textures required. I fucking hate pivot point textures. That's the dumbest thing ever invented. Like, whoever invented pivot point textures should be fired. What a dumb idea. Yeah, okay, so I don't know. Is this ever going to be fixed? Oh, I know, we figured out what it is, what the issue is. It's that the... So the UV pivot mainly in Blender for grass. I mean, it's not too hard to do it that way, because you can just, like, look from above? Or, like, do a UV unwrap, or projected UV unwrap from above. I do it in Unreal, using a function. Same with the, same with, like, these, you know, baking the root to tip pivot locations. Same with like these ones, which have like multiple, you know, a pivot for each one of these in the clump. But then you can still vertex paint root to tip leaves, masks, and whatnot. What's the problem with pivot textures? So with pivot textures, the annoying thing is that you need a different texture for every variation of foliage. So I could have, you know, one of these with 4 clumps, one of them with 2, one of them just by itself, another one that has 4 but in different positions and whatever. And so each one of those variations needs to have its own different texture in memory, and it has to do a texture sample for each one of them. And it also means that, like, yeah, for each variation of that foliage type, you need to make a material instance, assign it the pivot texture, blah, blah, blah. Super annoying. If you do it in vertex data, so like in the UV channels, or if you could somehow make it work with vertex color, but vertex color you want to save for other stuff, really, then you don't have to mess with, like, all of your different variations of the foliage can have the exact same material. So it's just like, it's an easier workflow and whatnot. But using the same pivot texture for position 0 and then just store texture plus offset for the variations. Isn't that possible? Same pivot texture for position 0 and then for the variations. Isn't that? I don't think so. Because usually a pivot texture is like a little atlas of like values, and those values are, you know, 50x, 35y, 110z, and then the alpha channel usually stores an integer for the previous branch of it, which is the one nice thing about the textures is that you just do like kind of almost like a recursive. I mean, you still have to sample the texture 4 times, but I've thought of ways to do like branching pivots with bit packing. The offset according to the offset of the blades. I'm not sure I follow. The other thing with doing the pivot textures is that you still need to use a different UV channel anyway to tell them where they belong on the atlas. And then it's like, okay, well, if I ever want to change, I don't know, it's just a bit annoying. New how-to video on the plugin. Yeah, I will make more documentation. For sure. Whether to control light source intensity based on the distance to the camera. Shouldn't have to be done through blueprints, right? You could maybe do it with a light function, but that might be a bit overkill. All right, let's get particular. Now that we fixed that funny bug. That funny bug that was so funny. Ha 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 ha. Can I freeze debug shapes 0? Never offline running rather than anything real time, so light function can achieve that. Yeah. Yeah, you could just make a light function that gets camera distance and whatever, and just, you know, does 0 to 1 based on the distance. It can only affect intensity though, not the fall off radius or anything. But yeah, that might be a solution. There's a little bit too much backsuck here. Am I, you know, let's not even worry about that for now. Alright, particle. Let's do a particle man. So I want to get this buoyancy one. I want to copy you and then paste you. Let's call this Pscape get water data. So let's put it in here, whatever. And then in here, we need to give it the fucking, all the shit. Velocity RT. Water main RT. Ball sack isn't real. This is landscape interaction height. Cool. What's FPS count? 60 because I have it capped while I stream. But it's usually high. Oh, got a big lump on my head. Oh, with all these particles, probably a bit less than 100. Okay, let's see. Let's see, man. It's so cold in here. So, get water data. First thing we do is we need to get water data. We don't want to like change anything. We just want to get in water foam. Don't care about color. Don't care about physics force or physics drag. Bam, bam, bam. What's the particles for? We're just testing like buoyancy. For like particles. Or like spawning particles and handling particles on the water. But now I'm just doing a thingo. So this would be our velocity. Oops. Pardon me. Do I want to do the fallback and the... No, I think they should be separate things. So this has simulation size, world space. That's not a dude. Velocity and main. We have the render target location, which is Niagara param collection. Position is particle position. We use that to sample our stuff. We also get the Z of the position to then calculate if we're in the water or not. This is there even water? Is there even water, bro? Get the water depth. Here we were doing water depth 10, and then that was our velocity, because we didn't want velocity, you know, whatever. So here we will get this. This will be our water depth at location. We have our in water, we have our water foam. Then we have our water velocity here. Oh no, that's the normals, isn't it? Yeah, it's normals. I don't know if I need the... Do I want to use the... I mean, it is good to have the normals. But do I want to include that in the velocity? That's the question. Also just thinking, do I want to do this as like a hard-coded water height mask thing? Or do I want to instead do... like, leave it up to later on, you know? I also, like, can I get the... sprite size? Is that like a global... I guess if it is a sprite, then... But, like, is there a mesh size? Like, what's the... sprite size mode. Then there's a mesh scale mode. Right, because that's size, that's scale. Is there a scale option? There is mesh renderer scale. So, like... I could just max the sprite scale over the mesh scale, but then it's like, if the mesh is already some bigness... Oh, you know what? Let's just do a input called... No, I don't even care. Let's just go from the center point. You know? So this is just, are we in the water or not? But we give it like a 25 unit above and below threshold. But... Eject obstacles in the grid. Good question. I store the height, the world height, in an RVT. And that's it, basically. That becomes the simulation space, essentially. So, yeah, it's pretty handy. It also means one nice thing is that you can actually store the texture height data in here. So, like, if I had a texture that was like paved tiles with like some gaps in the middle, then those crevices and whatnot would be like, you know, the simulation is actually affected by the textures, which is cool. It's a bit of a flex. It's hard to see here, but if I changed this dude, I'll just change the sand texture, wherever that is. Sand. Rocky dirt. Sand. Rocky sand. Let's change that to... what have I got in here? Volcanic rock. What, do I not have any... I'll just go stone path. Stone path regular? Whatever. See how that goes. No, that's the ugly one. Where's the bigger one? Maybe that one was better. Whatever. You know what I mean? Small. So yeah, anyway, you can see now in here that our simulation, like, follows along with the height map from here. So yeah, water will gather in the lower tiles and flow off of the big ones, and it will go through the cracks and whatnot. It's cracked. Cracked AF. Yeah, you see here, yeah. See, it's like going down and around. So that's kind of neat. What maybe playing your channel will be, I do a color mask. So I don't do color textures. I don't believe in color textures, you know. Sorry, yeah, let me show you. Oh, wait, do you mean in these textures? Oh, why was I? What the fuck am I doing here? B channel. Into the height. No. No. That's not it. It should be this guy. Yeah. I'll show you in half a sec. Let me just unfuck this real quick. Should that be? That should not be inverted, probably. That explains why the sand was acting super weird. Yeah, that's better. It's supposed to, like, let them... Yeah. Yeah, sorry. So what I do is... I'll go to a different one. R and G are the normals. Although they get stored as linear color. So I have to manually unpack them in the shader by doing a very, very costly operation of subtracting 0.5 and multiplying by 2. Which is what the texture sampler does anyway. So, yeah. Then in the B channel, there's a color mask, which for other textures is a bit more interesting. Like the... God, what do we got? Do we have any fucking... Maybe this has... Okay, that's got some grays in it. So it's like black, white, and grey, and then it goes into a 3 lerp. Do I not have the tiles in here? No. Texture. I guess this one has... Yeah, okay, some. Wait, they don't look black. It's weird. But yeah, so that's like that, and then this, and then the alpha is the height map. And so I only have one texture per asset. Or per texture. I don't need a separate color and a separate normals and a separate frickin' height map. AO... what's the other one? All the other ones. Roughness, specular. I mean, my game doesn't use roughness and specular. That's crazy. Alright, let's get back to business. What were we doing? Right. We were doing the thing. The particles, the data that we need for particles to do their particle stuff. So I don't know whether I want to do... I don't really want to do a combined, like, you know, near sim and far sim getter. I think I want to, like, choose one or the other. Or just run both of them. And will that work? Because I could then get the previous, like, stack context and add it into that. Add them together. Give them the fall off. That might be the way, actually. Yeah, if I do the masking here, then I've got ideas. I'm an ideas guy. Maybe I should just do a separate function called get. Let's call this get water sim data. Water simulation data. And then I might make another one called get water emulation data, which is a separate thing. Because we have the simulated water here. And then we have the emulated water here. God, I can't even fucking tell where it starts and ends. Simulated here. Emulated goes to about here. I also don't know if I want to do it as a circular... Like, circular radius makes sense for first and third person. But in my game, I want to have like a kind of square, like squircular fall off. But it's not easy to like do both of them. Oh, I could have a static switch. But I don't really know how static switches work. Like in Niagara. If I had a static bool called squircular fall off, question mark, and then that goes into a, not a branch, a select if. Okay, that is static, and then do this or do that. Okay, that's handy. So that will actually compile it into a different thing. I'll be right back. I really need to pee. I might make a coffee as well. Hello, I'm back. Okay, we can do this. Very cool. Whatever our final UVs are. I guess I should make a function. New border. Let's go. Niagara. Function script. Pscape. UV. Oh, let's call it UV mask selector. Right, so the input is going to be the UVs. That'll be the 2D. This is the... that'll just output a float. Cool. This is the mask. We also want to input a fucking thing. How do I make more inputs? Do you default to be squircular for any reason, or is this a screen shape? It's just preference, really. If you're in like first person here, you can see equally, you know, all around you, and so it can look kind of weird if, like the blending between stuff can be, it's less obvious when it's like, you know, circular. In terms of the actual simulation, it always uses squircular for, well, the water specifically. Wherever the render targets are. So in here, you can see that this has a squircular fall off. Because we want to, like, utilize as much space as possible for the simulation, and it just kind of works better when it isn't a perfect square or a perfect circle. A perfect circle would be fine, but then we have like a lot of unused data, so the simulation takes up the whole dude, but then we blend between all the different states using circles at the moment. So yeah, you can see the circle here, but it's actually a square thinger. So it's a bit, I don't know. It is preference. So if you were doing first and third person, you might prefer the circle blend. But for my game, because it's top-down perspective, and you can look, you know, up into the corners, it makes more sense for it to be, you know, to, like, utilize these extra little corner bits. Because, like, the simulation, if it was round, ends, well, wherever my mouse stops drawing. So, like, yeah, about here. Whereas if it was squircular, then we would see the extra bit, you know? So, like, wait, if I draw where it disappears, so about here. Yeah, you can see where I'm drawing in here. So we would get that extra bit of corner. Still following up based on the simulation texture, not the camera view. The simulation texture follows the camera around. But the... I mean, it depends. It's up to the user. what I would do in my case is I would parent the simulation to the camera so that if I looked, let's say I had like a long-range bow or something and I could look further over this way, the simulation would move with the camera panning, not just centered on the character. But yeah, if you were doing a third or first person game, if you're doing a third or first person game, it's actually better to parent the simulation like a few meters in front of the character. So like out here, and then if the character turns around, like, you can see further in front of you, but you don't want it too far in front. Because then if you turned around, then the simulation would reset when you turned back around. Like the bits nearby. So yeah, in first and third person, having it slightly ahead of the character kind of optimizes, the viewpoint. Because like, yeah, if you look here, it's like, oh yeah, cool. Heaps of simulated stuff, but also behind the character is in the simulation range. But if you're in first person, it's like, well, there's a bunch of stuff happening behind me that I literally can't even see. So like, what's the point? So yeah, having it ahead of them is usually, top down. Well, top down, it's better to have it centered. I mean, yeah, it is third. You know what I mean. Centered, but with a square viewpoint. Because again, like I said, if I draw up here, yeah, it's just trust me, bro. Oh yeah, so how do I get an extra parameter into this function? I really don't make it easy. Where's like inputs? Like bruh. Alignment, input, advanced, fucking banger. Like what's the input, module input? Input parameters, there it is. Static bool, yeah, nice, okay. This is Squircle mask. Sweet. So then that would go into a select, static select here. This bit here, so I need to break. I can't just fucking break it. Vector 2, can I? Oh, I can do it like this. Then we multiply one over the other. Stage play and more dynamic interaction with locals involving the character, but then the largest I've ever seen baked offline. How's that all work? So, oh, that's all good, Joe. The plan is to do some like river baking stuff. So there's the simulated zone, which is then surrounded by the emulated zone. Kind of a dumb way of saying it, but simulated zone, fully simulated, looks good, dynamic interaction, has particles and whatnot. Then the emulated zone, which is about... I actually can't fucking tell. Let me... let me just change that real quick. Oh, where's the fucking... Oh, no, sorry, it's this. That's just all of them added together. I'm done. Why not just absolute Flux or Fluid Ninja and call it a day? I mean, one, they're too expensive. Two, they don't do all the stuff that I want. And three, I'd have to, like, integrate them with my existing interaction stuff, which just sounds like a pain in the ass. Four, my system is more performant because it's shared between all of the other simulations. Like all of the input data. And five, it moves around with the player, using existing geometry as an input. So it's less flexible, but it's just better for my stuff overall. And plus, I sell it, and I make lots of money. So that's good. That's good. So yeah, so the pink zone is the simulated zone, orange is the emulated zone, blue is the fallback zone. And so the emulated zone runs essentially the same code as the fallback stuff, this is all running in a material, whereas the orange stuff is running in a render target. Like a big ass. Oh, it's not that big, it's like, I don't know. However big. So this big. And so it feeds into the simulated zone, both at the edges, so it gets hard set to the edge values, but it also adds its velocities, you know, in the ocean and whatever. So that's how we get, they kind of like blend from here. This wave's kind of along, does its thing, breaks, you know, crashes against all the stuff and whatnot. And so, yeah, so this takes like the edge, like the input from elsewhere. So you can see this river, which is usually just a really shitty looking spline. It is very shitty looking. But as we go over there, it feeds in the values from the river, so wherever the mesh height is and whatever. And so then if we go here, it's like, oh yeah, cool, it's a river, it's doing river waterfall shit. And then currently it will, there's no water sources, but that's just something I have to add into the RVT data. So if you can see the beginning of the river at the moment, it stops flowing. But usually it would be like this. And, you know, it would be flowing. And you'd never actually notice it stop and start, because as long as you're not loading in for the first time, you'll be, you know, revealing parts of the river that are drawing input and whatnot. But then the other idea is for, like, the far distance rivers to, yeah, do, like, a baked fallback that just bakes the velocity and the height and whatever to vertex data, or vertex color, sorry. And then draws that velocity into the RVT, because we then do the flow maps and stuff using the RVT. And we can also use that velocity data to ease the simulation in certain directions and whatever. So if you had like a completely flat river mesh, but you still wanted it to be moving, you would draw that velocity. So that's what this stuff here is. You would draw that velocity to the RVT, which then gets added very slightly into the simulation to, like, ease it in certain directions and whatever. But yeah, I haven't done the river fallback stuff yet. I don't know if I'll do that in the initial update or not. Or maybe I'll just let someone else do that. But yeah. That's the idea. The other thing that, the other reason that it's good to just have a, you know, a bespoke plugin or bespoke system is that, oh, it's nighttime. All of the different simulations, like, hook into one another without any extra cost. So, like, for example, we've got this grass, and the grass, you know, there's the wind system. It does all the wind shit. If there's explosions or characters moving really fast. You know, the character deform, the deform simulation draws into the wind simulation at no extra cost. And then, you know, like the water draws into the deform simulation at no extra cost, you know. And the wind draws into the water simulation at no extra cost. So linking them all together, because they're all in the one system, is super easy. So yeah, if there's like, if it started raining or flooding or whatever, like, you know, the foliage gets affected by the water, if you've set it up that way. Also, the rivers will be able to like flood and dry up as well, like at runtime. Because like all of it works at runtime, and like a lot of the, well, the entire plugin can work with procedural worlds as well, because it's using RVTs to define the coastline and all of the, you know, the lakes and whatnot. How they all, you know, like, does the lake have giant waves? No. Like, the ocean has the giant waves, but the lake knows, hey, I'm not supposed to have the giant waves, because we put down a mask that says, hey, we shouldn't have waves. Oh, sorry, no, the inland mask handles that. The omnidirectional waves can still appear on lakes, So these ones here, they're like macro noise waves, like that, which are different to the directional waves. But the mask affects how... Excuse me? Where the fuck? Now I'm just confused. Oh, is it maybe not updating the... No, that's doing it. That works perfectly fine. Why is this one getting all shitty? Is there another one in there? Oh, right, it's 0 by default. Sorry, that's my bad. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, we can, we can tell it to be full intensity if it's like a gigantic lake or a really deep lake. But then if it's just like a pond, you probably want it like close to 10% intensity. Yeah. So that's how that works. So you could like procedurally generate a pond or a lake or an island and then assign it, you know, plop down these masks and whatever. And it would be totally fine handling that, you know. Same with the rivers. The rivers all work procedurally generated. Although you wouldn't be able to procedurally generate the fallback, like the detailed fallback stuff. Which, I don't know, I'm kind of thinking that maybe I could do the fallback with just some distance field bullshit, or even just reading from the landscape height map and just doing a bit of math to make it look okay. Because, like, at a far enough distance, it probably doesn't matter that much. Yeah. I feel a lot of the time when I, like, go down rabbit holes and stuff, it can feel like it's like, oh, was that even worth it? Like, what was I fucking doing? Like, it's just slogging away at dumb shit. But I feel like this one is, like, actually worth doing. Especially since it is a product that I do sell and pays my bills. Gives me all the money. Thing. Yo, good. How's it going? Hello, Org and the Augurs. The Augurs? The Augusts? Organators? The Orgy? The Orgies? Post-process. Where's the frickin' color? Color. So in the last 16 hours researching? God damn. That doesn't sound fun. There are no fixed bounds for the scene, varying degrees of detail following the player zooms over his own legend. I think you said. Yes, yeah, it follows us around. With the new Runescape account? Hell yeah. I'm playing at the moment. I'm playing old school. I'm just, you know, AFK mining some Baronite, you know. So good. I'm having so much fun. My inventory is nearly full. Let's go to the anvil. Megalights? Let's force and realize on or for this volume regardless of project setting. For megalights, megalights will stochastically sample lights, which allows many shadow casting lights to be rendered efficiently with consistently low GPU costs. When megalights is enabled, other direct lighting items like deferred shading will no longer be used, and other shadow emitters, high resolution shadows, distance field shadows, and shadow masks will no longer be used. Requires hardware ray tracing and shader model 6. Well, fuck off then, megalights. More like mega dumb. Because for 16 hours? God damn. Yeah, questing in RuneScape is like, you know, like the efficient quest order. Because you get XP rewards for finishing quests. So it's like, okay, what's the least amount of skill grinding to do? And like, oh, this quest would be quicker if I did this, or this training method would be quicker if I did this quest first and unlock this thing, and there's like all this, you know. And then you put Iron Man rules on top of that, and it's like heaps of fun. Such a good game. Where's the color correction? There it is. I want to turn that on. What are the good guys behind paywall? Yeah, members. It's so expensive now. But at least well, I mean in RuneScape 3 there's microtransactions, but at least in old school, it's like, okay, it's like 20 Australian dollars for 1 month. Or you can get it $12 if you get the whole year. But then it's like, okay, well, there's 0 microtransactions, so like, you know, it's like kind of worth it. Water almost done? Hell yeah. How was the rest of your stream, Jed? That was $5. Yeah, yeah. We all do. Texting on my phone, is it £3 for a subscription? Yeah. Yep. Oh, sorry, €3. Wait, is that euro or? I can't. Same thing. Same thing, right? Am I right, fellas? GBP. There you go. If it ain't $1, it ain't worth knowing about. I'm just kidding, obviously. Right, let's finish the thing. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Although you can get bonds, like, through the game. But bonds are like 15 mil, or like 10 mil or something, in old school. So, like, if I sold my twisted bow, I could get, like, hold on. $6 mil. 16 mil, 160 mil, 1 bill, 600 mil, divided by, let's see, OSRS bond price. Okay, they're about 15 mil. Yeah, they've gone up so much. That's what happens when the player count increases so much. So, divided by 15. Da-da-da. Da-da-da. Okay, so I could get 106 months of membership if I sold my twisted bow. It's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, that's kind of how you're supposed to play the game anyway. Were you doing an Iron Man or a main account? I should probably be running my main account AFK, because then I could make money to then buy bonds to play my Iron Man. You know? You gotta pay, yeah. If it's a... What do you mean? Also, yeah. You can't just buy the game. Like... Wait, do you... Have you played RuneScape before, Jed? Like, have you played old school? Because it's not just... It's not like the backup from 2007 and then they haven't updated it from there. It's like... It's the backup from 2007 and then they redeveloped it. And it's like now one of the biggest games. Biggest rising MMOs. Yeah, it's a fork. That's a good... It's a fork of 2007. The hydrogen monoxide. Yeah, it's pretty gross looking. All right, let's go back to this function. There you go. Yeah, fair. Do I want to do the hardness in here? No, well... I do UVs minus 0.5 length. Length, and then the other thing, length, fucking multiplied by 2. Trying to remember what my mask functions were. Never played OSRS. Played it when it was RS. You should. It's honestly worth getting into. Like, it's... Even by, like, today's standards, it's a good game. Like, even if you didn't play it back in the day, it's, like, still actually so good. It's not even just a game, you know? It's like a whole vibe. I feel like old school RuneScape is just a vibe. Alright, what was I doing in here? 76 mask. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it's that length multiplied by 2. 1 minus, then multiplied by 4. This isn't necessary, but it is for that to make sense. So it'll get optimized out anyway. Quest for RS3, got all those quest kind of stuff. They backported a few quests from RS3. Like While Gothic Sleeps is in old school now. There's still the God Wars dungeon. There's all like the Zaros quests and whatnot, like Desert Treasure 2. What else was from Thingo? But yeah, then there's also like the new continent, like Zaya. Where do I go up? Over here. No. Can I go up? Ah, right here, over. Like over here. Like, this is old school exclusive stuff. So good. And then all this is like the newest areas and whatnot. So good. So good. What a big world. Did they... Oh, they did finish Manifoes, didn't they? Yeah. I do like quests in RuneScape. Like, compared to other MMOs. Like, the quests feel more like... like RuneScape quests? I don't know. So if that one, and then this one here, could probably do it the same intensity and stuff. Without the 1 minus, so that would just be maybe this. We can just test it. UVs, blah 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 blah. So let's just go to something in here, ready wave, RTs, and we will just go... What is this function called? And how do I expose it? Validation. Exposed. Library visibility. Then if we go Squircle... No, what was it called? Mask. Plugins. Pscape UV Mask Selector. UVs is... Where the fuck's the execution index? Hello? Right. Execution index to unit. UVs, Squircle, Mask... Let's just chuck that straight into there. So that is giving us our circle. And if this was a... What the fuck is that? Cool. Right. How do I... What is that? Static bool. Alright, well I guess it's just 0, 1, right? We're fucking... It's a pirate software stream now. Okay, so that's going 0. Why is this angry? UVs. Ah. I see. In degrees sign. Cool. So there's our Squircle mask. I should probably be a bit softer. Oh, no, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. Pablo, thanks. Love for the tutorials, 5-minute materials. Thank you, man. All good, all good. I'm glad that you enjoy them. Sorry, I am very locked in. I'm like very locked in, but at the same time, I've literally done nothing. Like, what have we done in the past 2.5 hours? We fixed one bug, then started writing this tiny little function. That's it. Like, just, that's it. Talked about RuneScape. Yeah. Okay, so Squircle mask. Blah, 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 blah. We've got this. I wish that could just be set here. But just doesn't. Just doesn't. As Edge doesn't help. I think I do, I guess you're on YouTube. It's in the description of all of my videos. It's just not in the streams. Maybe I could put in the stream description if I can update that. Okay, so that's our doodad. Blah, 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 blah. Water splash is local. Let's go to our get water simulation data. We then have Squircular fall off. Pardon me. So then we go UV mask. Oh, although how am I going to do that as a fucking global variable if that means it would have to be in every... Fuck. You'd have to go through and change that in every fucking thing. I guess it's a per project thing. Maybe what I could do is tell people, if you want to use the Squircle versus the circle, go into this function and change the default variable. You know? Most of the plugins I tried out were so closed and so that's really hard to use them with all your custom stuff you already made for your game. Yeah, that's something that I always tell people, like, using like gameplay plugins can get a bit funky. Oh no, I can do switch parameter. This is called Squircle Mask. Squircle Mask. The thing about my plugin and, like, you know, VFXy plugins is that they sit on top of your game. Like, nothing is really relying on them from a gameplay perspective. So let's do, instead of this and that, and that, and that, these go through here. And we do sign period 2. Then we break 2. Then we multiply x and y. Then we chuck that into there. So this is false, and this is true. You go into there, and we're all good. And then I just have to do that for the other guy. Bam, bam. Schwam, schwam. Gwam, gwam. Okay, that's a fucking mess. Let me just... yeah, cool. Alright, you chill here. You do that. And then you chill here. And yeah, cool. You can live up here. EZ. EZZ. Okay, so now that is cool. And this should be square. Squircle. Squircle. Yeah, Krim, how's it going? So... yeah. Well... I'll just move them over. This is fine. You can't saturate a float too, can you? Ooh, my smoothing level's now 32. Wow. Let's just do a clamper. Unless I want to... do I really want to... Technically, it would be cheaper to break these first. Yeah. Because processing vector 2s is actually more expensive than doing vector 1s. Fun fact. So then for each of these, I'd want to saturate them. Although, shouldn't these UVs be clamped anyway? Like, where the fuck are they coming from? Oh no, that's where I'm... Right. Alright, let's just... so bad. Hey Krim, how's the post-release treating you? Do you have any advice for people in the chat? Should they continue game development? Or should they just give up and save themselves the trouble? Right, now let's see if this works. Okay, nice. That's pretty pog. Okay, so that's our Squircle mask. Is it? I feel like it. Maybe. Does it need a longer fall off? What's it like without the? What's it like when it's circle? Like, what's the contrast like? So it's about that big. Even that, I feel like it needs a very slight negative offset. Like, subtract 0.05 or something. Just to bring it in from the edge very slightly. Excuse me? What the fuck? Why did that... Confusion. Okay, you know, let me just put the opacity up. Go up to that. Why is this mask so shit? Like, eh? Sign 2. Like, why is this happening here? Are the UVs maybe? No. What? That should be closer to 0 now. Yeah. That's way better, but... I mean, that's fine. And that gives us a beautiful square, which is perfect for our game because it's a top-down camera. If we had a monitor and we're like in normal zoom level, then yeah, we can see. We can just see the corner over there. Although, let me just test that against the circle. Like, have we lost too much size? Compile. It's about the same. Even that has a little bit of indication there. I think that's okay. Again, it does blend between them. Maybe that's good. I mean, I can clearly see the It's like, so whatever, you can do so much better. I think we should get together now. That's what everybody talking about. Hey, yeah, I'm like a girlfriend now. I think you need a new one. I want to be a girlfriend. Any Avril Lavigne fans in chat? I feel like even the circle mask needs this tiny offset, because it has a dead... is that just from this, though? Hold on. No Avril Lavigne fans? Wow. Lame. Any Avril Lavigne is a... what's that conspiracy theory? About how, like, Avril Lavigne was killed but then replaced by an impersonator or something? You guys remember that? She got replaced. Yeah. Who remember? Who remember? Yeah, I think we do this post things. Do that and then that'll get rid of like interpolation issues as well. What a classic theory. Well, that was Britney. Was it? Maybe it was... it's probably both. Okay, so now we know the math. Now the math has to match between this guy and the other guy. And it's like, haha, kill my elf. Kill myself. Also, Amethyst, how's the fishing going? Are you still... Oh yeah, you're still on. Why do you have different methods for the further out zones versus lower detail / resolution? Something like that earlier maybe we said. It's a very good question. The reason is... The reason is we so in the orange zone, we run the wave calculation in a render target so that all of the values are just there ready to use. We can do asynchronous GPU callback, where we can essentially ask the GPU, hey, what's the value of this render target at this location? And it will be like, it's, you know, velocity this, B velocity this, the foam amount is this, the world position is this. So that makes buoyancy really cheap to calculate and whatever. But then we can also use this render target to spawn particles. So when these waves crash against, you know, rocks and stuff, we can spawn splash particles. And also, we can also do like a few other kind of cheats. Like, what do I call it again? Clip protection. So for example, if we go over here, maybe it's in view now. Maybe this is a good example. So see, like with the blue, the fallback stuff, see how the waves kind of clip through the rocks and it looks kind of silly? I mean, you don't really notice it at a far distance, but, you know, it just kind of like goes up and disappears and whatever. With the render target, we can actually do a little hack. Where we use, essentially it's like a wetness mask. But we can just be like, oh yeah, like water that has been up here takes a little while to kind of dissolve off. So if water goes on this rock, it will kind of... It isn't actually flowing off. We're just setting its height to be above the rock for a little bit longer than everywhere else. So that's like another benefit of doing this kind of render target version. The other thing is the foam can actually advect in this big render target, whereas in a material, you can't do things like trails or, you know, they don't have state. Whereas in this one, we can do better trails and whatnot, and also like foam on the coastlines and whatever. So yeah, so we calculate all of our waves in this big render target zone, but obviously we can't do that for the entire world. What have I done here? I don't know. Yeah, we can't do it for the entire world because obviously the render target would then have to be the size of the entire world. So within the orange zone, the shader is only going to be reading from some render target. So the shader cost will be way cheaper around us. And then everything that's blue will be using a different version of the shader that doesn't read from the render targets, but it will process everything in the vertex shader. So, like, you know, it'll be running all of the waves all the time per vertex. But they'll be so far away that, you know, you won't really notice them that much. How's your complexity view currently? It's very high. It's very high right now because I'm running all of the code all the time in all the tiles. So it's like 1,000 something instructions. Pretty massive. But, I mean, obviously it's still running well. Anyway, so with this, the emulated waves, as I call them, we use that to drive the input or the edges of the simulated water. So you can see here the edging all over here. That directly, it gets set on the edges. But then we also add, you know, some of the input velocity and the input WPO into the simulation, and then it kind of handles it and does all this stuff and whatever. All the fun stuff. So the main thing is the orange and the pink zone, and then the blue is just purely visuals. But they are using the same wave calculation. It's like a global wave, you know, Gerstner wave, summing, and like an FFT flipbook for the noise waves. So we can query it on the CPU for the fallback stuff if we need to. That's the Omni waves. Omni waves. That could probably chill out at the top there. You know? I'm gonna put myself on the back before I roll on if you see this mental stuff. Jed, you're doing great. You're doing a great job. Do you know and use C++? No. I don't. I hate it. I mean, I don't hate it, but... I don't hate it, but I do. Okay, I know a little bit of C++, but like I wouldn't say I can use it effectively. Is there an entry way to code blur effect to post-process that doesn't require a million scene samples with offsetted UVs? You could... Let me check. What's it called again? Scene... Fucking... Scene texture? Post-process input... Can you not get the MIPS of... fuck is this? Yeah. Yeah, maybe not. That's fucking dumb. Well, yeah, because what they do for Bloom under the hood is they sample all of the different MIP levels of the post-process and add them all together. And that's how they get the cheap blur. But I don't know. Presumably you're going to fish enough that you're running it all live. For example, the water breaking the rocks is all live. Yeah. It's all live. No, nothing is baked at the moment. So yeah, this is all live water. You know, like, can't bake this. Trying to connect the wind system to the grass by using a simple add, but the wind then applied even after the grass has been trampled. You will need to... Oh, wait, did I just... Oh, no, that's... you'll need to... I'm trying to think how I do it. You could just get the 1 minus of the deform. And then... I'm guessing you're... Yeah. You're using, like, your own wind shader. Yeah, what you'll want to do is get... Yeah, so if you get the deform... Or what do I call it? Trample. Deform, whatever. Get the deform vector and get the length of that. And so this will be 1 when it's trampled completely. And then you could get the 1 minus of that. And then multiply your wind shader by this. So basically when trampled, multiply it down to 0. What is one is found it interesting that even static objects like rocks and landscape is also like... Yeah. Well, it's because it's all... The simulation just reads from a runtime virtual texture. So, like, we can... Oh, did that all turn off? Why did I disable it? We can... do silly things, such as... change stuff at runtime, like this rock. You know, I can just be like, oh yeah, let's, like, do this. Or, like, do this. You know? Change the height at runtime, if we want. Probably not advisable. I mean, it would depend. I'd have to have a Boolean in the system. But yeah. We can do that kind of stuff. We can do silly things like this, even. But I wouldn't advise it. It won't like it. Past a certain point, of course. It also kind of works in the orange zone because of that fall off. You know, the water fall off thingo, which is kind of funny. That I only just realized that now. Yeah. Well, that's the downside. That's why I wouldn't really recommend doing this. Because yeah, it's gonna have to redraw that height map every frame. But the reason that doing it from RVTs is nice is that you can procedurally generate a world and have all of the things, you know, draw to the RVT. And, you know, obviously it does it once and then it's good to go. But it means, you know, you don't have to use a pre-baked, you know, height map of the entire world kind of thing. Ugh, I feel like I'm just not getting anything done. I mean, I'm not getting anything. Just too dumb. I just want to cook beans. I just want to cook some beans and then eat them in nachos. That's all I want. So they can install the scene color buffering in a render target in order to get access to the mid-base. Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, you could do a... You could use Niagara Grid 2D to do some post-process effects and whatnot, like a what's that effect? Like where you're like dazed and it's like blurring it over time, kind of thing. You could do that with a Grid 2D and be like, so then it would have the previous frame blurred over the top of the current frame and whatnot. Like a temporal blur. What a... Would I have to... Yeah, I'm just trying to think about these particles, whether they need to have I could do that, but then I'd have to put in all the data in here, which is unnecessary. This is our velocity. Cool, cool. That can just be... Because yeah, I'm just thinking like if we're in pink zone, and we've got some particles that spawn, some splashes, whatever. Or like I'm more thinking of like things at the border between this and that. Or if a particle travels from here to there, it would need to know, you know, both the datas. So if I wanted to get all the data, would I want to... And like for some of them, I just want to use this. I guess I could use the fallback. Or like not have that in the middle. I don't know. Is anything ever going to have far and near at the same time? Probably not persistently. Like, it's more just for splashes and shit, so maybe it's fine. That's velocity 2D and normals. We add the normals to the... Yeah. Let's go with this water velocity. And I think there's nothing else we would need from here. What's B of the... That's the world position? No, that's world position there. What's B of the velocity? Render target. What are the... That's wave velocity. Wave render target. Where's our fucking... Ugh. What is blue here? What the fuck is blue? Blue is the WPO value. A is the foam. In here, B is the wetness. A is the depth. RG is the north. Yeah. Oh, fuck, I just, what am I doing and stuff, you know, yeah. I don't know. It's late. I'm not, like, super feeling it. Maybe I'll come back Monday and, smash it. I mean, I'll work on it tomorrow. There's just so much, like, so many little, just stupid little setup things, and it's just, like, so hard. Or, like, it's not hard, but it also is, but to, like, pluginify everything so that like everything has like a toggle and an option, and it can be used this way and it can be used that way. And if you want to make your own custom particles, you just smack this function on your Niagara system, and it's like, oh cool, now you've got all the water data. Here's the variables, you know, make your own buoyancy or whatever. But then it's like, okay, well, I'll make my own buoyancy thing, but then it has to work with like the different masking configurations, and it's like, just like, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's I don't know. I'll continue tomorrow, offline, and then we'll stream again Monday. Hopefully, I've made a bit of progress or done a bit of like brain thinking. Like, we are in that last 20% zone where everything's just, you know, everything slows to a halt. It's the worst part. It's that home stretch. It's like, oh yeah, like we're almost home, you know, we're almost at our destination, but there's like a fucking poison swamp that you have to get through. It's like, Miyazaki! It's just all the Dark Souls games. Anyway, I'm going to cook some beans. What is it? What's it even called? Amethyst, are you awake? Are you still there? What do you call our bean thing? What's the bean called? What would you guys call, right? It's kind of like a salsa, but like, is it more like a chili non-carne? So it's like bean mix, lentils, tomato, capsicum, curry paste, paprika, salt, pepper. Just like heaps of shit. Okay, yeah, like a chili. Okay. Yeah. My bean chili is like the best shit. And then you just splash it on, you just plop it on some nachos. And it's like, or on some corn chips. And it's like the best thing ever. It's so good. Oh, my stomach hurts just like thinking about it. I always grate a carrot into mine just for a bit of extra carrotness, extra vitamins. And then the secret ingredient, I always put brown onion in at the start and like cook that, but then right when I take it off heat, then I put in a diced red onion. So it's kind of like raw red onion, but like it kind of, you know, it warms and loses its potency over time. But then also kale. Kale is the best leaf. Kale. Okay, here's my thoughts about kale. Right, it's so cheap. It's like $4 in Australia for like a fucking bunch of it. It keeps for like weeks. Like it doesn't wilt. It doesn't go slimy like fucking other lettuces do. Like it keeps really well. You can use the stalks. We always cut up the stalks into like little centimeter bits. and cook them. It's pretty much... The stalks are just like broccoli. You know? The stalks just taste like broccoli. So I always put that in my chili and shit. But then, like, also the kale leaves, I put them in at the end when it's off heat. And they just, like, they hold really well. Like, they don't just turn into mush. Like, cooked kale is like... almost like a fresh spinach. Because, like, spinach just turns into nothing. But kale holds its shape. Like, it's... So good. Kale is the best leaf. There's no leaf better than kale. Do you get leeks easily there? Yeah. Yeah, I think we grow leeks out here, even. I think we have before. Leek and potato soup. That's a classic. I love leeks. Onion and green Vegemite. Yeah. They're also really easy to cut, like, to prepare. Because you don't have to, like, slice it 2 ways. You just cut it in half, and then, like, cut it down the shaft, slice it down the shaft, and then, you know. Love potato soup, so filling, though? Yeah, I love it. I love a thick potato soup. Big, thick potato soup. I love cauliflower soup. Cauliflower and blue cheese soup. Pumpkin soup is like one of my... pumpkin soup with, like, curry. Almost like a spiced pumpkin soup. With, like, curry powder and a bit of orange juice. Just like, so good. Pumpkins. Tried yak on potatoes. Super fresh to eat raw. I haven't. Soup's just nice to... Yeah, well, it's winter here at the moment, so... Or it's near the end of winter. If you can tell me kale chips are better than any chips. No, that's exactly it. Kale chips, you have to do them right, but they are very... They're not like a replacement for anything. They're kind of their own thing, and they need to be... Kale chips need to be like a part of something. Or like a side, or like a little palate cleanser kind of thing. Because, yeah, like kale chips, they're like bitter, and, you know, you salt them. It's not really like a... Yeah. I don't think kale chips is what kale should be used for. Like, do we make spinach chips? No, of course not. That's fucking dumb. Zero, do you still play games? I think you're going to eventually stop playing games. I don't know. Do I stop playing? RuneScape's not really a game. Yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like I do... I don't know. Is it because I'm a game dev, or is it because I'm just old? Like, is there just a correlation between being old and not playing games? Or is it because of the game dev? I feel like as you get older and you have to do like more work to stay alive, work replaces playing games, you know, 24 hours a day. So I think when you become a game developer, you're just replacing playing games with making games, because that's, you know, what you do with your time. So I don't think it's necessarily... I think whether you went into, like, accounting or went into game dev, you'd probably end up not playing games the same amount. Maybe playing games a little more as a game dev, because it's, like, research and it's within, you know, your hobby/work thing. I don't know. It definitely changes how you look at games and how you enjoy them, or if you enjoy them. It's the same with, like, you know, doing, like, music or video or photography or graphic design. Like, or like, writing, you know, books and shit. Once you know all the tricks, like, you can't just enjoy something as a consumer anymore, you know? It's just like you're constantly, like, analyzing and nitpicking and being like, oh, I would have done this instead. Like, what a fucking idiot, you know? And I think in that regard, maybe, you know, you're less inclined to watch a movie or read a book or play a game, because, like, you know that, I don't know, it can almost be, like, taxing in a way, like, to, you know, be constantly analyzing, not consciously, but just because, you know, it's what you're interested in and whatnot. Takes me a year to read a book. I don't think I've read a book in, like, God, I don't know, like, over 10 years. I've read heaps of papers. Like, white papers and shit. Like, research papers and whatnot, like... I don't know. Like, I can read, but I know you have Amethyst. Do repos count as books? Yeah, does documentation count as books? Read chat all day. Exactly. Can't Mungai read many books a year? I mean, I think that's valid. I think that counts. You know? I read subtitles all the time. Does that count? Not Unreal. Yeah, Unreal's documentation doesn't count. Yeah, I don't know. It's sort of... It's... Like, back to the video game topic. Yeah, I guess it's hard to balance, like... I don't know. It's all just... life just slips away from you, you know. You just don't have time. Or it's not even you don't have time. Because, like, I have all the fucking time in the world. Like, what do? I just sit here and click buttons and make the water go splush. That's literally my whole life. But I still feel like I don't have time to read books or watch movies or whatever. I think it's more just like an available brain power thing rather than an actual time thing. I don't know. So I just had a little tired. I mean, yeah. Then play the games that don't need dedicated some time to, like Red Dead 2 has Red Dead 2. Games like that just don't have time for. Yeah. You know, I get that. I like just, like, occasionally booting up, like, Noita, and then, you know, doing 1 or 2 runs, see what happens, you know, get a funny-ass combo, like, build going, die, rage quit, go back to work, kind of thing. Oh, you also play. There you go. Man of culture. Yeah. I do like RuneScape. Because, like, I swear, I say this every time about RuneScape. But you can play it in, like, so many different ways. But not just different ways, but at different intensities. Like, you can just kind of, you know, do something like, you know, low intensity, like AFK woodcutting or mining or whatever. Where it's like you glance over it once every minute and you're still making progress for when you want to play actively. But you can just do it even while you're working. And then when you want to take a break from working, you then, you know, do some bosses. Do some bosses, do some mini games, do some PKing or whatever. You know, get some wilderness action. So I think I don't know. I think with my game, I think having, like, you know, varying intensity is a good idea. Like, yeah, like you can manually, you know, combat mode, you've got your axe out, cut down a tree. Or maybe you allow your character to give other characters orders to cut down a tree, and it takes a bit longer. Or you could just do it yourself, you know, right click, cut down tree, and your character would kind of like autopilot cut the tree down. So that, you know, so your fingers don't get tired of just clicking and clicking and clicking all the time. You can do like a less efficient, but more low intensity version of a lot of things. Oh, sorry, as an Iron Man's been so good. So kind of never would have touched as normal. Yeah, I agree. Iron Man feels more like when you're playing RuneScape as a kid. Like back in 2004. When, like, you know, like, I just remember, like, doing the dumbest shit. Like, the most inefficient, nonsensical things. Like, I'd go and play Castle Wars for, like, hours at a time just to get, like, the shitty armor and whatever. And it's like, what's the point of that? Or, like, going to fight a particular monster to get a particular drop instead of just buying it from someone else. Or, yeah, it's just like, you would naturally do everything yourself back in the day. But then, because it's like, you know, you're grown up and it's like, okay, there's like efficiency, like it's more efficient to kill this boss and then buy skilling supplies and process them really quickly so that you're not wasting time that you could be bossing and making more money. But with Iron Man, it's like, okay, well, the only way that I'm gonna get, you know, fletching XP is from wood cutting logs or getting logs from monsters or something and then processing it yourself. So it is like, yeah. Iron Man is more nostalgic in a weird way. I'm seeing all the looking for GFDs in Runescape back in the day. True. Yeah, there was some weird people back in the day. Original Oblivion also had me doing really silly escapades like it. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's I think like making something from start to finish in like any game is super satisfying. Like mining the ore, smelting it into, you know, metals, and then turning that into a blade and cutting down a tree and finding some really good wood and turning that into the hilt and then turning that into this new weapon and then putting, you know, an enchantment or a gadget or whatever on it. And it's like you did that from the ground up, like from every step of the way. Which is another thing that I want to focus on when I get back into doing actual game stuff, is like having items and objects be like almost as like important as characters, you know? Like, oh, I've got this sword or I've got this spear with a flamethrower on it or something. And like, oh, I'm going into this particular area where, you know, monsters are really weak to fire. Or they're resistant to this thing, or I need a piercing weapon, so I'm going to modify, you know, I'll take the same shaft, but put a different head on it that I've made out of a particular material that's good for this thing, and whatever. Specific mining trips to get to locations for specific weapons. Yeah, exactly. Like the planning stage, preparation stage, the you know, the adventure stage, and then the recuperating and processing stage. That's like the arc of an adventure. Or like a task. And I think, yeah, using that as like a loop is like a good basis for like everything that I want to put in Prismatica. Also, someone asked, do I make games or just like working on the tech? I do make a game sometimes, but it's in refactor hell. It's going through the ultimate refactor, but I'm currently working on my plugin, which is a breadwinner. It's how I get the money to then sit around and experiment with really dumb game mechanics and whatnot. Anyway, we're gonna raid out who the frick is streaming game development. New World is fun time. Yeah, I played New World on release, and I enjoyed it. I didn't even make it to, like, endgame. But, I mean, it was still fun. I don't know why I stopped playing. I think I just, like... I had to do something for a couple of days. Maybe, like, go somewhere. And then... when I got back home... I just wasn't interested in playing it anymore. It's been able to do just troubleshooting. Yeah. Yeah, just like gathering resources. Getting all that hemp. Right, let's see. Let's see. Any Unreal developers? Hey, there's me. What a cool thumbnail. Oh, good, Benny. Thanks for watching. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I do appreciate the company. Why YouTube viewers virgins? Because I want everyone to watch on Twitch so that I can become a Twitch partner. So I insult them. It's just FOMO, you know? Right, I don't think anyone else is streaming Unreal Dev. At least no Englishes. Oh, here we go. Mietz. They're a German... Oh, no, their title's in English. You know what? You guys are gonna... We're gonna go there. Based. Alright, let's go... Mietz. What's he? Yeah, that's crazy. Alright, Cool. Well, I'll see you all on Monday, hopefully. And... yeah, look, the water's just, it's a whole thing. Maybe what I'll do is I will release the update without particles. Because I think the sooner I can get feedback and shit on, like, what works, what's broken, you know, I want to be able to do this, I want to be able to do that, the better. So maybe we put particles and buoyancy on hold, do a release, and then come back and do particles properly after. You know, maybe I just want to be done. That might also help. I think maybe if I just get the water, like, simulation behavior done and out there so that people can start dicking with it, then maybe that would be good. Because the particles literally just sit on top, so it doesn't matter too much. Anyway, thanks everyone for hanging out, and with that, we say goodbye. Goodbye. Also, Unity, hello! Sorry, we're finishing. And to all the YouTubers, thank you so much for watching.